And this, or did you download it?
No, I didn't end up, don't worry.
I'll go back to my computer and see if I can see and hear properly. Yeah. Yeah, let's say some of the other companies were saying also their graduate program has closed. But I shared my contact details saying if you have any other opportunities and if you want to work closely with the faculty, promote it on the jobs board and social media platforms, because a lot of our students are external. They might be, looking for opportunities all over Australia.
Yeah, see if it's oh, should we close this? Oh, you just need to mute your computer.
Yeah. Actually have a different. That sounds. Yeah. I'm very surprised. Yeah. I thought that there would be. It's now up there. I know there was nothing like people in that thing. We got that. Hello. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you doing? Take a seat, I'm in the front. That's the day. From this day. What's your name? Sundays. Sundays. Sundays? I'm doing my office. Oh, so the final stage. That's the best factor. Oh, guys. Have you done any back work and things like that? Yeah, I'm working as a graduate at GST. Yeah, so I've been in this. Oh, have you? Recently, I applied for the graduate program with Newmont as well. Oh, did you? I gave the video interview, but unfortunately got rejected after that. Oh. So I feel like maybe it's the user enrichment program and that's student. So until now, I don't have restricted work rights. However, from June, when I use graduate, that's the kind of so that's what I'm doing. This is the feedback of music, and when I get my paper, it's well, I think it's a keep it position. If you wouldn't do that, when you third apply, there was a chance to go around. Yeah. I did like it. I really mentioned that I don't know. I have a student here. However, after June, I will make any of that particular expensive. In 30 years, and then we can actually for the next 4 years. So until 5 years, we need to go to the restrictions and within that 5 years, can affect that. That's what I mentioned. Yeah, because really, it's what yeah. Yeah. I Nice. Yeah. Oh, great. Comes at the front, something for your faces. Visual. Welcome, welcome. I have nut blindness, so I need to relax. It was very exhausting. I stayed in my fingers. That's all right, as long as you can see me.
Hello, welcome. Feel free to come take a seat somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello. Alrighty, I think we'll get started because it's about 5 minutes past 10:30. So welcome everyone. I'll have to stand here in front of the mic so you can hear me. Welcome everyone. For those of you who I didn't meet yesterday, my name is Sunray and I work in the talent management team at Newmont. This is Angela. She's one of our graduate mechanical engineers and she'll be sharing her career journey later on as well. So we're here today to talk to you a bit about our emerging talent programs, essentially. So our vacation student program, our graduate program, and to give you an overview of Newmont as a company as well. And so I'm excited to speak to you about that today. But first, I guess a bit of history, or actually before that, housekeeping, which Tassia has kindly reminded me of. In the case of emergency, let's run out these doors here, but also let's follow the directions of our lovely CDU staff. There we go, they're at the back there. If you're looking for a toilet, I've been instructed that it's that way, to the right over there. All right, let's get started. So a bit of, I guess, history on Newmont. So Newmont has been around for quite a while now, so over 100 years. So it was first, I guess, established by a man named Colonel Thompson. So Colonel Thompson, he worked in New York, but he grew up in Montana, hence the name Newmont, New for New York and Mont for Montana. So Newmont is a global company. We operate in 15 countries around the world with a total of about 21,000 employees. 40% of our workforce is found in Australia and Canada, meaning that a large portion of our workforce is here in this lovely island that we're in today. The predominant language spoken is English, but we do have a large majority of our workforce that also speaks Spanish. And so if you ever find yourself in a global meeting where they're speaking Spanish, you'll find yourself listening to translators who will translate directly to English for you, which is a really kind of cool experience. We have 4 operations here in Australia. You might have heard in November of last year, we recently acquired Australia's leading gold mining company called Newcrest. Funny how we both start with new, so it's a little bit confusing, but we acquired them last year. So now we have 4 operations across Australia. And in addition to these 4 operations, we also have 3 corporate offices as well. So the 3 corporate offices are in Perth, Brisbane, and Melbourne. And you'll see the sites that we have on the screen there. So Boddington, Telfer, Tanami, and Cadia. And so I'll talk to you about these 4 sites and give you a bit of an overview so you can kind of understand what these sites are like. So our Boddington site is in Western Australia. Hands up if you've ever been to Perth before. Nobody. Oh, no. All right. Well, Perth, Western Australia is a beautiful side of the country. It's a bit drier than it is here in humid Darwin. But it's beautiful, lush and green. And so Boddington is about an hour and a half or an hour to 45 minutes drive south of Perth Metro. And so about 22% of people who work in Boddington actually live in the town surrounding Boddington, but the remainder of that are from Perth Metro and they drive in and out of site. So Boddington is a drive-in, drive-out site. So a lot of people are on a 5-2-4-3 roster. And so what that looks like is that they might drive down on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning. They do their 5 days and come back on Friday. The following week, they go back on Monday and then they leave on Thursday. And so every second week is essentially a long weekend. So 5-2-4-3. The other roster that we find at Boddington is 8-6. So for example, they might go in on a certain day, like a Tuesday, and then they leave the following Tuesday and come back on the next one, for example. And we call that an 8-6 roster. Boddington is WA's largest gold mine, and it's an open pit mine. And so there's 2 large open pits that we have down in Boddington. I guess some exciting fun fact about Boddington is that Boddington was the first gold mine site to introduce an autonomous haulage system. And so this truck here looks kind of small in that picture, but it's actually massive in real life. And it's run autonomously, meaning there's no human driver on it. And so we have a fleet of 36 of these trucks that help us essentially run the mine site. But because they are, I guess, autonomous, run robotically, they have a fantastic detection system, meaning that since we introduced them, we've had around a 50% reduction in heavy vehicle damage incidents because they will detect something in front of them and they'll stop immediately. They also go really slowly as well, and so that helps a lot. But they're able to run through the night and everything like that. And so that's really cool. So we were the first ones to introduce that in the gold mining sector. Telfer is also in Western Australia, and Telfer is one of our fly-in, fly-out operations. And so the individuals that work at Telfer, they live in Perth, and they fly in and out of Perth. The great thing about Telfer is that it's both an open pit and an underground mine. And so there are 2 different mine types in the same location. I've heard the mine site is only about 5 minutes from the village. And so you literally roll out of bed and into work within 5 minutes. I've yet to fly to Telfer, but really keen to. Tanami in the Northern Territory. Yes, in the Northern Territory. And so we have a direct fly-in, fly-out from Darwin. Angela works at our Tanami site and she's in Darwin, so she flies in and she flies out. So Tanami is an underground mine. It's about actually I have a map. Yeah, 900 kilometers south of Darwin. So, and that way is Alice Springs. So you can kind of gauge where you are on the map. In the middle of the Tanami Desert is where we're looking. And we're really the only company out there. And so it's just Newmont out there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, about an hour's flight. So it's a nice short flight here from Darwin. There's a large-scale underground mine, and the culture at Tanami is really great. I think being somewhere remote really just brings people together. And so everyone up in Tanami is incredibly friendly, always willing to help. And I've heard really great things about people that work in the teams up there. Something cool that's going up at Tanami is that we've recently invested, or in 2021, we invested $100 million into the company Caterpillar to develop a fleet of battery-operated underground vehicles for us. And so it's the first of its kind. And so the $100 million was to help them in their research and also the development of it as well. And so we've given them a spot on our site up at Tanami for them to test out their vehicles and to essentially build the first fleet. And then we have Cadia at New South Wales. So has anyone been to Orange in New South Wales? No, don't worry, I haven't either, but I've heard it's very beautiful. Green hills, wineries all around. And so Cadia is also a drive-in, drive-out site. It's a residential mine. And what that means is that we've made an agreement with the community around this mine site. So in the county of Orange, we've made an agreement that everyone who works at Cadia is a resident of the area. And so if you were to work at Cadia, which I'll speak to you about in a little moment, what it means is that we would relocate you to Orange, New South Wales, where you would work at Cadia, drive in, drive out. Cadia is a humongous site, similar in size to Boddington, and it's an underground mine. Okay. So both of our programs, our vacation student programs and our graduate programs, extend across all 4 of these sites that I spoke to you about. And so I'll talk to you in more detail now about the programs in particular. So the vacation student program is a 12-week placement, and it's a paid placement. It runs from December to February of every year. And so this year, what we're trying to do is to make it so all of our vacation students start on the exact same day, so that you will have a kind of welcome when you arrive on site with all the other vacation students, and then you start off on the same swings so that you're constantly supported by other vacation students as well. And so what this looks like is that you spend 12 weeks essentially on site, so not in the office, but on site with our technical teams, depending on what discipline you're from. So for example, if you're civil structural, you'll be spending time with our geotechnical team on site. And so you spend time with them, and sometimes what departments do is they give you a project to work on that you then present back on at the end of the 12 weeks. But essentially, the purpose of the program is to give you some practical experience, in your field of study, and give you an exposure to a mine site as well, so you can determine whether or not the mining sector is where you want to work. It's important to note as well that it's an opportunity for you to see whether Newmont is a place that you want to work, but also vice versa. And what I mean by that is that a lot of companies look at their vacation students as the future talent pool for their graduate program. So in a lot of cases, if you join a company as a vacation student, you do well over the summer, then you're offered a permanent position in their graduate program without needing to undergo any further recruitment. And so that's what we do. So we try and have a very high conversion rate, is what we call it, so that a lot of our VAC students end up being our graduates. And certainly Angela was that case as well. So she started off as a VAC student with us, and now she's a graduate. So the applications for the vacation student program open in June, and it's a 3-step process. So the first step is an application form. That application form is where you will upload things like your CV, your resume, where you answer a few questions and tell us a bit about yourself. The next step is an online assessment, and it's kind of like a video style where you'll be asked to record answers to certain questions. or they might be in the form of multiple choice questions as well. But essentially, it's for us to be able to gauge your communication skills, but also your teamwork skills as well, depending on the questions that we kind of ask. And after that, the third step is a hiring manager interview. And so you'll be interviewed by someone like myself and then a discipline lead. And so it'll be a 3-person interview where we'll then ask you a few questions, which will help us determine whether there's an alignment between your values, Newmont's values, and also understand your experience as well. So a question that I'm asked a lot is, what are we looking for in our vacation student? So what will kind of put you ahead of the other candidates? And look, I think as a baseline, yeah, we look for people with good communication skills, good teamwork skills, but I think what will actually set you apart is if you're able to tell us how your discipline relates to the mining sector and why you're passionate about that as well. And so you don't necessarily need to have experience on a mine site to be able to talk to that. You can look into your discipline, see how it translates into a mining sector, and then demonstrate the fact that you understand what that kind of work would look like on site, for example. And so that's what we look for. So that's our vacation student program. Any questions? No? Later on, I'll talk about the disciplines that we will hire for. Okay. Now, a bit about the graduate program. So the graduate program is a 2-year development program. It commences in January of every year. Sorry, it's covered. So it starts off in January of every year, and all of our graduates at the end of the 2 years are placed in permanent positions following the program. So for example, if you're a graduate mechanical engineer with us for 2 years, after the program, you then get promoted into a permanent mechanical engineer position in one of our sites. And so how the graduate program usually works is that you spend 1 year at one site, and then we rotate you to a different site for your second year. Because the graduate program is a development program, meaning we want to give you exposure to different types of mine sites, different kinds of teams, different departments as well, to diversify your skills early on in your career. Because you might be sure about your discipline, but there are other aspects that you might not be sure about, such as what kind of mine site you want to work on. Do you want to work underground or do you want to work open pit, for example? And so we want to expose you to that so that you can make an informed decision for your career later on. So Angela, she is from Darwin. She started off her first year down at Boddington, Western Australia. And so we picked her up and we relocated her to Western Australia for that 1 year. She worked in Boddington, and then for her second year, she's up at Tanami. And so we picked her up again and relocated her back to Darwin. And so if relocations are required, then we will assist with that. So we will relocate your car, everything that you need. So in addition to the site rotations, there are also inter-department rotations that occur. So for example, if you're civil structural and you go into the geotechnical team, you will rotate in that 1 year, you'll rotate between the geotech team, the underground team, and also the backfill team. And so you're constantly learning and constantly exposed to new teams and operations. And that just helps you gain an understanding of the end-to-end operations of a mine site. Mechanical engineers, they rotate between fixed plant, but also mobile maintenance as well. And Angela can speak more to that. And for our geologists, I haven't met any geologists up here. I don't think there are any, but you will rotate between exploration and mine geology. Those are a few examples of the inter-department rotations that we have. So to make sure that our graduates are well supported throughout your 2 years, the first thing that we have is a skills checklist. And so we're currently redeveloping this to be more of a kind of capability framework, but essentially it's to help you understand whether or not you are acquiring the skills that we expect you to. And so in this 2-year program, you'll have this kind of guide that will help you understand, whether you're performing, whether you're ticking off those skills as well, whether you're on track. The second thing that we offer, a graduate collegiate. It's a fancy name, but essentially what it is at the beginning of the year, Your first day will be in our Perth office. And what it looks like is that we invite all of the new graduates, the second year graduates, and the graduating graduates all to one central location. And you meet each other, you have a day of PD, you have a day to learn more about the company. And that's usually the first day for our graduates before you then fly to site, because then you can meet the other graduates, know who they are on site, etc. We also have a mid-year conference as well. And so it's looking like it will be a 2-day conference held in June of each year. And so that 2-day conference is to give you another opportunity to reconnect with the other graduates at the other sites. Right now, our graduate cohort is 85 graduates, 85 to 86 graduates. And so it's impossible to be able to keep up with all 85 of them while you're working on site. And so this mid-year 2-day conference is to help bring you all together again. And it will be full of PD as well. We also have LinkedIn Learning throughout your 2 years for any kind of short snippets of learning that you want to do. And then we also have a buddy program and a mentoring program. So the buddy program is with your first 6 months with us, we'll assign you a buddy to help you get up to speed quickly. And so this buddy will help you understand Newmont as a company, how things work. They'll introduce you to the team and help you, I guess, settle into site for your first 6 months. The mentoring program is offered to our second year students. The mentoring program sees you paired up with a very senior leader in our business. And that senior leader will be with you for your whole second year, or about 10 months of it. And they'll help you with any career questions that you have. You guys will meet once a month at a minimum. And then they'll essentially guide you through your second year. So examples of past mentors, for example, the general manager of our Eleanor site, he has been a mentor, a consistent mentor for us, or the directors of exploration geology, for example. And so very senior leaders. So the recruitment for our graduate program runs from February to March of every year. And so it just closed about 3 weeks ago. But we recruit very in advance, and a lot of companies do the same as well, where their recruitment will open across February, March, and the intake will be the following year in January is when you start. And so that's when our recruitment opens. It's the same kind of stages as well: application, online assessment, and then the hiring manager interview. So a very similar process to the vacation student program. And you can apply via website, LinkedIn, Grad Connection, Grad Australia, and Prosper. So this is a really long list of the disciplines that we hire for. Mining engineering. In some cases, people that are studying civil structural engineering, they sometimes go into mining engineering as an option. Then we have the actual geotechnical structural engineering, geology. If you're studying chemical engineering, you can go into metallurgy, which is essentially gold processing, helping us get the most out of our ores. Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, process control, surveying, automation, environmental sciences as well. So we hire quite a few environmental advisors on site with us. So social responsibility, health and safety, and also technology analysts. And so if you have a data science or an IT background, then we do hire technology analysts as a discipline. So in that little corner on the right-hand side, so that's something that I mentioned, in that relocation assistant is available in the case that we need to rotate you, in the case that you work at sites other than Tanami, essentially, which you will do. A note is that we do require our graduates to have unrestricted working rights at the time of commencement. And so if you are to start the graduate program with us, then you need to have unrestricted working rights when you start with us. All right, so that's enough from me. I've been talking for a long time. So let me pass over to Angela, and she will talk to you a bit about her career journey leading up to Newmont.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. I started studying mechanical engineering at CDU. And the reason why I chose mechanical engineering was initially because of a process of elimination. I didn't like electrical, I didn't like chemical. I was a little bit on the fence with civil engineering, but I think I heard that in second year, I can't remember if the name of the unit is manufacturing or machine design, but at the time I heard that they would do lots of site visits to different businesses in Darwin, and then they would explain you what they did in those different businesses. It could be metalworking, concreting, all different types of things. So that really caught my attention, and it made me realize how much variety of job opportunities you could have with mechanical engineering. So I stuck with it, and I ended up liking it quite a bit. So yeah, in terms of preparing myself for, or like doing internships and all that type of stuff, I didn't really start really pursuing that until the end of my degree. And one of the first places that I went to was Newmont, because I saw the vacation program advertised in the CDU careers page. And yeah, I decided to give it a go, even though I wasn't too sure initially about being on a doing FIFO on an 8 and 6 roster and all of that. But I thought I would give it a go because throughout my course, I became interested in the resources sector. So anything mining, oil and gas, renewable energies, all of that. And I thought I would give mining a go. So yeah, I think it was end of 2021 when I did my vacation work with Newmont, and I was at the Tanami mine site that was mentioned earlier. And that was it was a really great experience. I was a little bit worried initially being away from home and all of that, but like Sandra mentioned before, it's probably just having so many people in an isolated, like so isolated in the middle of nowhere that it it seemed to me like it was a really good environment, especially for newcomers. At least in my experience, everyone was very welcoming, and they were always like keen to help you out if you were struggling with anything or if you had questions. So I really enjoyed the environment and the culture of the site. As a mechanical engineer, I was in the fixed plant mechanical maintenance team at the time. And when I was up there, the team was a little small. So I got the opportunity to go and join the feeders and the boilermakers and see how they do maintenance around sites. And that was an experience that I really, really enjoyed, because you get to see how the stuff that you might be working in the office actually gets implemented out on site. And you get to see the challenges that the crews sometimes go through. Like, for example, if you don't consider access to certain, I don't know, whatever it might be, you might make the job a little bit harder or things like that. So just those little bits and pieces, that having that knowledge makes a really big difference when you're in the office working on your projects. Yeah, so that was Tanami. After doing my vacation work there, I was lucky enough to be fast-tracked into the graduate program. And last year, like Sandra mentioned, I was working out in Boddington. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time in Perth and my time in Boddington. It was a very different vibe for the mine site, because you're just surrounded by nature, whereas in Tanami, you're in the middle of the desert, which has it's also really beautiful in its own way, but I think I really liked going out to site and then seeing trees all around you instead of like, yeah, just the desert. But yeah, in Boddington, I mainly stayed in fixed plant maintenance as well. But although I didn't get the chance to rotate to mobile maintenance, I did do smaller rotations with different departments on site. So all the graduates where we were really close to each other, and we got to spend time with each other's just like job shadowing each other. So I spent time with geology, with the geotechnical engineers and metallurgy mainly. And I really liked that. Whenever I asked to do things like that, my supervisors were always very encouraging. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a really good experience to be supported in that way. If you're in any time curious of learning more about different areas of the business, it's always, yeah, you're always supported to go and learn about that. And yeah, more recently, in the last month, I've returned to the NT, now working at the Tanami gold mine. So yeah, it's been good. This time around, I'm in fixed plant maintenance. And it's really good like last time, but also a little different. I definitely do feel the difference between being a vacation student and a graduate, but in a good way. And yeah, even though I've only been on site for a swing and a little bit so far, the team has been really good. I'm mainly working with the engineering team and with the crews that do maintenance on the trucks. So that's been a really good experience so far. Now I get to be with the a little bit closer to what the Caterpillar, because the CAT Alliance is set up in Tanami and all of that. So that's very exciting to see how they're working on implementing the new technologies and all of that. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on in Tanami at the moment. So I feel like it's a really good time to go back there. Because yeah, there's a lot to learn at the moment. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too rambly. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions.
Thanks, Angela. Yeah, this is the time now for any Q&A. So do you have any questions at all for Angela and her career journey, or Newmont and any of our programs? Anything that we spoke about today? Feel free to shout it out. Yep. 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 Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your feedback. And that's definitely some feedback that I've provided to CDU Careers as well. And the timing of the careers fair as well as the timing of this session as well. I think a lot of companies in the resources sector have a similar recruitment timeline to us. And so it's around February and March that you will see a lot of graduate programs open up for recruitment. And that's the general timeline across a lot of companies. Yeah. So thank you for that feedback. And we'll definitely try and come a bit earlier next year. Anyone else? So if you're from Darwin, well, honestly, you have access. If you get into the vacation student program, we could relocate you for 12 weeks to one of the other sites as well. So for example, in some cases for Cadia, if you wanted to go to Cadia, we'll pick you up and we will relocate you to New South Wales for 12 weeks. And so you'll stay there for 12 weeks, but you'll be put up in a kind of apartment with the other vacation students as well, not in the same room or anything like that, but the same complex as the other vacation students, so that you guys can meet up at night time after you come back from site, have dinner together, drive out together if you want to in the morning. And so we can relocate you for that 12 weeks if you wanted to go to a different site other than Tanami. Any other questions? No? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your time this morning. If you wanted some more information, we have some little brochures that we were handing out yesterday. Also, if you didn't manage to get any merchandise. We do have some left over if you would want some. But before you guys leave today, is it all right if I take a picture with you all? Is that all right? If you want to not be in the picture, feel free to escape through the doors. Otherwise, could we do like a selfie style picture? I'll take it like this. All right, sweet. All right. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Please feel free to come up if you have any other questions. Thank you.